Hey guys, so I wanted to make a stream today because I was reading a comment and it just kind of reminded me about the appeal of hot and crazy women. Personal note, I have known a number of guys who are attracted to hot and crazy women. And when I mean hot and crazy women, I mean like women that would kind of remind you of Harley Quinn. They are just, some of them are just clearly mentally unstable, but they're hot. And so these guys are really attracted to these women because their little head is thinking over their big head. It actually saddens me. Like, as much as it sounds like I'm chuckling about it or I think it's cute or funny or whatever, right? It's not, because I have known, there were two guys in my life who I thought of as brothers. And these were people that I thought were really great individuals. These were both males. They were strong. They were forging their own way through life. They seemed like they were fearless. But the thing is that they weren't successful with women. And although I found them to be good looking, they didn't put themselves out there. They didn't actively work on how they look like. So when they would see like maybe an attractive woman who would pay attention to them, they would be like all over these women. Now, unfortunately, unfortunately for them, one of them met a woman who was just so controlling. I mean, she really reminded me kind of like a Harley Quinn. The guy that I'm talking about, he was not abusive, but she was a control freak. So she kind of she was small. She was small. She was tiny. She kind of had like this whole little bobble-eyed kind of look, and but she was kind of like a freak from all accounts. And she made him feel like she made him feel like she was the best that he could get. So although she was controlling to the point that she did not allow him to speak to his friends unless she approved. If she called, he would have to answer ASAP, like no questions asked. I mean, if she called, it doesn't matter what he's doing, he has to drop it. He had to hide that he was hanging out with friends. So there were times that he was hanging out, not just with me, but with other people as well. And even though she wasn't in the same state as him, he had to like walk away from us and pretend like, oh yeah, I'm not out right now. Yeah, I'm just walking around the block. It's just like hiding that kind of stuff. And I felt so sad because I thought to myself like, what the hell? This is a guy that tried to help me so much through depression. He had such a strong character. He really was focused on improving his life and becoming an entrepreneur, and then he met the wrong woman. But like I said, she made him feel so manly. And he left everybody in his life. He left his friends, he left his family just to pursue her. And she had such a hold on him that one time I was talking to him, right? And then she found out that I was chatting with him, and I found out that she was actually on his account. So I was trying to talk some sense into him, like, hey, this chick is crazy, things like that. And she went on his account and she called me a stupid little girl, and I realized, like, I was like, holy shit, I can't even, like, if she has access to his account, that's pretty scary, right? But he really liked her. He really liked her. And I remember when I was talking to him, like, we don't talk anymore. For obvious reasons, he's still with her. It's been a number of years. He's still with her. But I remember him telling me that she cheated on him. And he knew fully that she could leave him at any time. But because she was really the best that he could get, he stayed with her. He became her slave, and he lost his identity. And I looked at his pictures because I was curious about him last year, and I saw a picture. I looked at I looked up his name on Facebook, and he gained a lot of weight, like a massive amount of weight. He looks like a shadow of his prior self. And when I look at his face, it's not just the weight gain that sticks out to me. He looks so depressed. I can't help but think that maybe things aren't doing well in the relationship, and he is stress eating, because, as I mentioned, it is not just it's not just simple weight gain. You can tell about when when a person takes a picture, how much, how they're kind of feeling, their emotional state. And he looks a certain way. She's still very skinny. She gained a little weight, but she has this kind of like vacant, kind of dead look inside of her. But aesthetically, because she has the big eyes, the smooth skin, the straight hair, she has perky chest. Even though she's very skinny, and she takes pictures in lingerie, and she's not a lingerie model or anything like that. She's like a wannabe, but she when I say wannabe, it's like you can tell that she wants guys to like lust after her, even though she's in a relationship kind of thing. And but guys are attracted to that. That's what I find. Like, guys are attractive to hot, crazy women because yeah, they tell themselves like, this is the hottest woman I can get, and I don't want to lose her because she's so hot. And I feel bad, it's like a lot of the times, like, I feel bad, I feel sad, I feel pissed off as well, because like a number of times, like, I'm 32 years old, as you guys know, right? So I've been through my 20s, I've heard conversations with guys, and I'll hear guys talk about women, and they'll be like, the first thing they'll tell me is she's hot, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, what else about her? Okay, I understand she's hot, but hotness is not everything, right? You can have a chick with a perky butt, perky chest, but that doesn't, it's like all the hotness in the world. A lot of the times, for 95% of women, once they hit like 40 or something, right? I know some people in MGTOW would say it's actually 25. But once they hit around like a certain age, and age kind of slowly catches up with them, they start developing wrinkles, and the hottest chick on the block might not end up being so hot, especially if she doesn't take care of herself, right? And I know some people are like, oh well, yeah, well, these chicks are hot, and I'm just gonna bang them because they're hot, and I'm attracted to hot chicks because hot is everything, and that's not it. That's not it. I look at some guys, and they end up not only dating these women, they end up having a kid with these women, and then after they have a kid with these hot women, the women are mentally unstable. Then they end up with a bigger problem, because then they end up probably with a custody battle, or worse, right? If they're doing shared custody, then they end up with fights with their baby mama, because baby mama is crazy. Baby mama's hot. Let's stress that. Baby mama is hot. Baby mama is so hot, you want to have a kid with baby mama because she hot. But I think it's so juvenile. I think it's so juvenile to look at a woman and just like prize her all about her hotness, but nothing else. And I know I'm going to get shit about it, but I think it's really a sign of an immature guy. Because being with, having a kid with a woman who is attractive, is not a bad thing, but having a kid with a woman who is clearly, destructive and toxic and crazy, but she hot, like, just being hot doesn't give her a free pass. And you remember that guy that I was telling you about, the one that gained a lot of weight? He actually had a kid with her. He did. And oh my lord, I just felt so bad, because he got locked in with her for like 18 years, actually the whole life, right? So it's like the chances of him leaving her is very, very slim, because now there's a kid involved. And it just wasn't good. It just wasn't good. I'm gonna leave it at that. But so that was one guy. I still mourn the loss of his character, because he was just a great guy, and I feel like just being with that hot, crazy woman. Let's really remember, she was hot, according to him. I asked people, I was like, do you think she's hot? And people would say like, yeah, she's hot, but she looks crazy. And I was like, she is crazy. She is a crazy, controlling woman, but he's attracted to her because she's hot. And she gives him attention. So I hope that none of you guys look for a woman and just see hotness as being the number one thing. Like, if you do, like, and she's crazy but she's hot, like, really, you're just setting yourself up for failure, because your small head might be really happy, but if you have a kid involved and you're going to waste time on that, you're going to realize the hotness is not worth it, especially if hot girl does not take care of herself, right? Hot girl does not like watch what she eats, or has a skincare routine. Because as boring as this sounds, like, I know people are going to be like, Erica, you sound like an old woman. Why do you care about your skincare so much? I'm aging. I'm aging and I want to preserve my youth, and I don't want to just take my skin health and my body health for granted. So that's why you guys see me do all this supplement thing and all this skincare thing and doing this research, because I want to prolong my health and my youth, and not because I'm insecure about it, but I just want to look good as I get older. And I know I'm not going to be on like the caliber as some of these hot crazy women who are just, they don't do anything to their skin and they're just like so hot, or their body is just so banging and they barely do anything, but they got the blessed genetics. And that's okay, because I'm me and they're them. But I feel bad when it's like, sometimes it's like regular women or average women who are not considered to be hot, is just like cast aside so easily, because she doesn't give that kind of excitement, or it isn't that brag worthy thing that a guy can do. Like, if a guy's going on a date, right, typically a guy would be like, oh, I'm going out with a date with a chick, she's hot, oh, look at her picture, she's hot, right? If she looks like a normal woman, there's a lot less to talk about. It doesn't seem so like brag worthy, right? You get what I'm saying? And I know that I've known guys who have dated. I know this other guy, to balance that out. I know this other guy, and I respect him a lot. He isn't a looker at all. He isn't a looker, but he has a really good character, and he just has a very steadfast. He has a very strong character. He has a very good mind. And he was single for a long time. And I remember he was telling me, when he was like 25, he still never had a girlfriend. And he felt very insecure about it. So he actually went to a hooker to lose his B card. I told him, I remember when he was telling me about it, I told him against it. I said, look, I don't think you should do it that way, because I understand you might feel insecure about being 25. I think he was either 25 or 27. I can't remember. But like, this is like a once in a lifetime thing. Like, don't just see it as something to get rid of, So but he went against me, and he went to see a hooker. He lost it. He said the hooker could tell that he was, a virgin. And at first he was happy about it. He was all excited. He was going to them like a few times, and he was like, yeah, it's great, Erica. He even told me that he went over there and he paid extra money to not use protection, right? And I was just like, oh my god. And then one day he gets introduced to a chick, and she's not a looker as well, but she has a very sweet heart. And then he ends up dating her. And probably like a month or two after they start dating, he tells me, he says, Erica, I wish I didn't have sex with that hooker. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, you were right, because he said that he wished he had shared that experience with his first girlfriend. And all his insecurity that he had about being single, it all went away. He's been with the same girl for, I think, about 3 or 4 years. His first girlfriend, as far as I know, she really respects him. He really respects her. And she's not hot. I've seen a picture of her. She's not hot, but she's not crazy. And he's really happy around her. And he's very protective around her. And even when he talks about her, I can see that he has a lot of respect for her, and it's a really stable relationship. And it's nice to see those kind of relationships. It's nice to hear about people dating people who are mentally sound, and looks aren't everything. Because I think a true relationship, a really stable relationship, isn't really based on looks. Like, looks can play a part, but what matters is really the character and the feelings between two individuals. It's not, I have the hottest chick on the block. It's not, man, my this girl that I'm dating, she's like the perkiest tits, like her tits are better than your girlfriend's tits, kind of thing. Like, that's something like a juvenile would do. And that's why it's like, sometimes when I hear about guys talking about women a certain way, I'm like, geez, you kind of sound like a very like a not very like future thinking guy. And I know, like, some people would say, well, Erica, maybe they're just playing the game. Maybe they're just, maybe they just want to be like Leo DiCaprio or something. But, like, you look at these guys, some of these guys that are saying this kind of stuff, and I'm like, geez Louise, this guy does not look anywhere near close to Leo DiCaprio. I mean, he doesn't have that, like, sexual market value like Leo DiCaprio or anything like that. It's just a guy who hooks up with a hot chick or dates a hot chick, and then he gets involved with the hot chick, and then he ends up with like all like year, possibly a year of his life wasted because hot chick was hot, but she was crazy. And I'm gonna also share this thing with you guys too. So, I was in a relationship before where this guy that I was dating. He was into this girl who was from Japan, and she was a tourist. She came to Hawaii. He just bumped into her. They started talking, and I remember he was telling me, like when he described her, like one of the things, like I don't really describe my exes. You ever notice that? Like I never really describe them. Like I'll maybe mention like some features of some of them, but it's like nothing like stand out. But I remember it's like he went into detail about this chick. He told me about how great her body was, how she had model-like proportions. Her measurements were perfect. She had a perky butt. Or it's just like she fit designer clothes so well. And then here's me. Here's stumpy 5'4" me, right? I ain't 5'8". I don't have like the banging body naturally kind of thing. And she had chest tissue that I definitely don't have. But what I remember him telling me was this. I remember him telling me how much he loved her body. I remember him telling me how much like it's like she was like not mentally stable. So she would go through mood swings and anxiety and depression, and they would both be in depression, but they were drawn to each other because they both understood how each other felt. And yeah, I was like, so did you guys try to help each other out of depression? Because it sounds like you both like being miserable together. And I don't know about you guys, as a person who spent the last, 10 years, almost like 10 years of her life just going through depression and anxiety, I can't imagine being with a person who's also equally depressed as me and just kind of feeding off of it and be like, oh, well, they understand my depression kind of thing, right? Because it's like two depressed people together are kind of miserable. But they got into like some fights about stupid stuff. I can't remember what it was, but it's like they would just have like a very toxic relationship. And he would wake up at like I think 4 or 5 a.m. Hawaii time trying to have a conversation, trying to talk to her daily in Japan. And it's like he was her biggest cheerleader kind of thing. And he would spend all his money to go back and forth from Japan just to see her. And he wasn't loaded, okay? He wasn't loaded. He made like decent money, but he would spend all his money just to see her one day in Japan because he was attracted to her. And they just had a very volatile relationship, and she was hot. And yeah, so anyway, so here's this guy spending all his money on her, going on trips back and forth. Just like, can you imagine spending a 12-hour, like, I think it's like a 10-hour, 9 or 10-hour flight from Hawaii, going to Japan, being there for like 24 hours, and then going back on a plane to Hawaii? Can you imagine that? But he was clearly attracted to her. Even though he was spending big bucks, like she knew how much money he had, and she never turned his money down. Like they went to like some fancy restaurants, they went to $300 dinners and things like that. And yeah, she just didn't care, and he didn't mind spending that money on her, sending her expensive designer stuff, because it's like he was just so enamored with her. He thought that she was the best that he could get. She was hot. She was, they got together on a mental level, and yeah, and her body was banging too. So at the end of it, unfortunately for him, she decided to cheat on him with another guy who was also an American guy, but this guy was in Japan. He lived in Japan versus my ex who lived in Hawaii. So he was all depressed and things like that, and she still reaches out time to time to him. But yeah, but what I'm trying to bring up is that, so he told me about that relationship early on, and looking back at my relationship with that guy, it's like he was a lot less vested in my relationship with him than when he was with his ex in Japan. And I think it was two parts. I think one of it was that she was clearly hotter than me. So, it's, and also it's like I was not. I'm not like you guys know, like, I'm not that kind of person where I get crazy, it's not like I get volatile and I just start, having heated moments and screaming at a person, or, that kind of stuff. It's like, the whole thing where people say, like, love hard, hate hard kind of thing. Like, that's the kind of thing that they had a very fiery, passionate kind of relationship where it's like they had heated emotions. So he would hop on a plane to Japan, and have put his thing into her, and then go back into Hawaii, and then just like, it's just like, yeah, there was just like a lot more emotional volatility there. And I think having all that emotional volatility really bonded them, right? Because it's like, if you have a unstable relationship and you have like highs and lows and highs and lows and highs and lows, it's like it can be very hard to get out of that toxic relationship. So with me, it was just kind of, he didn't have to worry about someone lashing out at him. He didn't have to worry about me being jealous if he was talking to another woman. I'm pretty low maintenance, so he didn't have to shower me with designer stuff. And yeah, and he didn't. So, it's like he had this, like, I remember it's like when we were talking, because I still occasionally talk to him. Like, I'm friends with most of my exes. Well, the ones that I talk to. Like, some of them, they got married, so of course, it's like, I'm not going to talk to them, right? But it's like, I remember he told me, he said, Erica, I didn't know what to do in our relationship because it was just too normal. And I broke up with him. And one of the reasons I broke up with him is that I couldn't handle his lifestyle. So he is, so he cares a lot about his fitness. And as a result of that, it's like he would be cutting and he would be dieting and things like that. And it's like he was taking, he was like taking some kind of like supplement during that time, and I forgot what it was. It wasn't steroids, it wasn't hormones or anything like that, but I forgot what it was. I forgot what it was, but it wasn't good for him, and he actually ended up going to the hospital for it. But yeah, it's just like he had these mood swings, and I could not tolerate it. And then during that time when we were dating, I remember he was telling me about a person a female that he knew. And I actually met her once, and I think I might have shared this with you guys. Like, I was next to him, and it was the first time I saw her, right? So I'm standing next to him, I see her, he tells me, like, oh, this is so-and-so. So I wave to her, I smile at her, and I'm just doing the whole friendly thing, right? And I noticed she never makes eye contact with me. She never makes eye contact with me, which really stands out, because it's like, if she's seeing my ex, why is she not making eye contact with me? I'm not Casper, the freaking friendly ghost, over here. I know I'm a person, but she just locks eyes with him and she just ignores me. And then I kind of think to myself, I'm like, crap, man, that's some cold stuff, man. Because not even, you know what? If someone is waving to me, like, I would wave back to them. I wouldn't pretend like I can't look 5 inches away from them, right? The person that I know, and just like not acknowledge the person next to them who's a person of the opposite sex. And I know that that person is dating someone, so probably should be nice and wave back. But anyway, so like, he would tell me about this friend of his, and while we were dating, and he said he had a connection with her. And I could kind of tell. I was like, dang, He tells me, like, oh, Erica, she understands me. I'm like, oh, damn, this sounds just like the Japanese ex over here, right? And yeah, they would get in, they would talk. I think they would talk very often. I want to say it was every day, but if it wasn't, it was very close. He had like such a strong connection to her. He would tell me about her, and my little sensors were going off. I was like, oh, dang, I don't know, Erica. I don't know. This is getting. I mean, I don't want to sound like a jealous hoe here or anything like that, but I was just thinking, like, this is getting a little suspicious here. This is feeling a little familiar. And after I broke up with him, I thought to myself, man, well, I'll see what happens. And then I find out later on he not only yeah, she goes on a international trip, and then he follows her to the international trip, even though she has a boyfriend. I know. She has a boyfriend, but he wants to, he wants to, he claims he wants to travel to the same place with her. She didn't invite him. He just wanted to go. and then they meet up. And then he also tells her, listen to this, he tells her that he loves her. And he told me that. He told me that he told this chick that he loved her. And I remember thinking the first thing I thought in my head was like, I freaking knew it. I had a feeling. He was into her like that. I had a feeling. I don't know what happened to them. I have no idea if they're in a relationship or not. If they are, I'm not surprised at all. But I heard that she's single. Her boyfriend of a number of years left her. So, with my ex being single and with her being single, I'm not going to be surprised that they hook up. And, they got that little emotional tension. They got that little, heated thing, calm, heated thing. And I think it's kind of like, I want to call that like a trauma bond, but I might be remembering it wrong. But yeah, they got a lot of heated feelings between them, and it's one of those people. It's like you can imagine that they probably they get mad and then they have like makeup, and then they're all happy again, and then they get mad and then have makeup, that kind of stuff. Yeah, so it's just so anyway, what am I trying to get at? I'm trying to get at this. If you guys are attracted to a hot individual, please do not be blindsided by just their hotness. You have to think about things as long term. And if you guys are into the whole hookup thing, like by all means, go for the hot crazy women if you want, or hot crazy men. But just think secondly about having a kid with them, because hotness, if you are with crazy, you don't want to tie yourself down with crazy for 18 years, right? Actually, it'll be more than 18 years, because although you only have a legal obligation to the kid for 18 years, assuming you step up to it, right? You're going to hear about the kid's mama or the kid's dad for a number of years, past the 18 years. So it's like you're going to hear about that, and maybe your baby daddy or your baby mama is going to move on to another guy, and you might not like that person. You get what I'm saying? So I know some people will give me crap about it and say like, oh, Erica, you're just against the whole idea of hookup culture and things like that. And to be honest with you, I kind of am against that. I am. I don't think it's emotionally healthy. I think it kind of makes people just kind of focus on just like on the physical aspect, and then it strips away any emotional connection. And if a person just has a lot of, how would I say it? If a person has a lot of relations, like bed relationships with a person, I feel like it's not healthy for them mentally. I don't know about men, because I think some men can be f-boys and things like that, but for women, I think women they can carry that weight on them. So I would not. I don't think hookup culture is a really good thing. I think that especially like afterwards, right? Like after a person hooks up, one person might be like, hey, I really like you, I'm so glad we hooked up, and then the other person will be like, oh yeah, just get out of my bed, right? That's pretty fucking hurtful, I imagine. I've never been in that situation, but I imagine that's like kind of conversation does happen, right? Especially if you do those like Tinder stuff and stuff. So anyway, if you want to look for a person long term, don't just go for hot and crazy. Both men and women. Look past the looks. I know it can be hard for some people, right? I know some people are like, man, but I just look for a hot person, and I wanna tell all my boys, or tell my female friends about that hot chick or that hot guy. It's like, if I just say like, watch what you're doing, and please do not ever put yourself in a situation where you think a hot person is like the hottest that you can get, and you have to chase after this person, like my friend, right? Who is forever lost, and it saddens me a lot when I think about that stuff. It really does, because it's like the person is still living, but their character is gone. They're a shadow of who they were, and a hot person is like a dime a dozen. I know some people be like, I don't see that many hot people, Erica. No. It depends where you are, right? If you're around, let's say, LA or something, I imagine. I don't know about LA now, but if you're around Hollywood, you're going to see a lot of visually attractive people. But if you are in, a place where, let's say, I don't know, people don't care about their looks at all. You know, they don't care about personal hygiene or grooming. Then yeah, maybe you'll have like less. You probably have less people who are considered visually attractive over there. You know, visually attractive by society standards, right? So yeah, don't just focus on looks. Focus on the inside, and that's the whole thing about my banner. If you guys look at my banner over here, let me pull this back up. Okay. Let's see. See my banner over here? Where's my banner? Yeah, be your own dream girl or guy. I know you guys should watch my previous video because this will sound a lot less cliche here. But if you are working in yourself and you feel like you're becoming like your own perfect vision of yourself, this will be your protection against a really hot or crazy person coming into your life. Because here's the thing, if you have a person who is attractive, who, you know, there will be less chance of them making you feel inferior if you also see your own worth. You get? So like for instance, right, if you don't brush your teeth, if you don't brush your teeth for like a week and you stink, and you know, you're wearing clothes that are 2 sizes too big for you, and you're wearing like ratty looking, I don't know, sneakers, that kind of stuff, and it's not because of financials, but it's because you just don't care about yourself. If a woman or a man who is like a 9 out of 10 pays you attention, you're going to be flattered, right? You're going to be like, oh, wow, this person cares for me. Oh my gosh, wow, I can't believe a person that hot's paying attention to me, right? That kind of person, like, you'll be less likely to let them go, because when you think about yourself in comparison, you're going to say, holy crap, wow, this person is way out of my stratosphere. But if you yourself are taking care of yourself, right, to the point that you yourself feel like an 8 or 9 out of 10, or even a 10 out of 10, you know, then if a hot person comes by your way and they're crazy, you can say, you know what, you're hot, but you know, I can get another person like you. It's like a different mindset. You know, you take control of that situation. And that's the way that I would like all of you guys to think about it. I want you guys to work on yourself, see your own worth, and don't just don't just feel like you have to chase a hot person and that's really the best that you can get. Because I guarantee you that is not the best that you can get. That guy who traded, whose character got destroyed and he's a shadow who he was, his girlfriend slash fiance, she's not all that hot. I think he could have done much better if he just took care of himself. And I say this as an impartial female because I've seen some really beautiful women, and compared to that chick, compared to like some of the women I've seen, and I met afterwards, like, yeah, it's just, there's no comparison. So, but in his mind, he thinks that she's the best that he can get, and I think that was one of the factors why he didn't want to like leave her. I really don't think it was just an emotional thing. It's like, I feel like he had negative self-worth about himself. So when he saw, like I said, when he saw the hot chick, he was like, okay, I must cling on to her because there's not going to be a hotter woman. Don't put yourself in that position, okay? I still mourn the loss of that guy's character. I don't want that to happen to you. And if you guys know any, or guys or females know anybody like that, like, please just, it's going to be tough, but like, please have them work on themselves so that way they can stay away from these toxic, character destroying women. And here's another thing I want to share with you guys. So I have a clip of Selena Gomez over here. Selena Gomez is, a very beautiful woman, but I wanted to share this clip with you because during this conversation, and she has this clip, she talks about her exes, and I think it's very insightful.
Don't tell Dylan I said that. Oh, you'll be fine. Everyone of my exes thinks I'm crazy, so I don't care.
Got that? She says, you'll be fine. Every one of my exes thinks I'm crazy, so I don't care. So if a woman tells you her exes think that she's crazy, chances are she's not single and sane. There's probably some warning signs over there. So do not just think about the hotness. Think about the whole package.
Every man calls their ex crazy rather than recognizing that they're the crazy one for picking someone that they're not going to have with. It's an easy way to not take responsibility for your failed relationship. Say my ex is crazy.
What if they recognized they were crazy already, but they chose to ignore it because they're hot? You can't deny that happens. That definitely does happen.
I've done that repeatedly.
Oh, so Lewis admits that he's done that repeatedly, in case you guys didn't hear. Yeah, see, so if the looks are up there, then a guy can overlook crazy or try to overlook crazy, but you know, craziness, huh?
It short circuits the brain.
It short circuits the brain. Yeah, so you guys know what my solution to that is. My solution is my banner picture. Once you have higher self-confidence, once you work on yourself actively, you will protect yourself a lot from crazy, because you will realize and you will know you have choices.
What helps me is if I'm with someone who I think is nuts, I'll close my eyes during an unpleasant conversation so that I'm not affected by the boobs. And then I'll try to make my decision with my eyes closed.
Wait, say that again?
Boobs tend to short circuit the brain, so what I do is I'm having a conversation with someone that I realize this should be a failed relationship. I close my eyes and I make my decision and I speak with my eyes closed. So this way, I'm not distracted by the giant boobs. It actually works.
Did you guys hear that?
Two bad relationships.
Did you hear that? So Lewis is admittedly blinded by big boobs, and yeah.
Every man on earth is.
Yeah.
But it can be overcome. And the way you overcome it, just listen.
Listen.
It really makes shit so much easier.
But you just said that if you see big boobs, then your logic can go out the window because you're hypnotized by them.
And I listen and I think about how I feel when I'm listening to it.
You're listening to what she's saying, or you're listening to the
what she's
boobs?
saying. You can't listen to boobs there.
I don't know. It sounds like you can listen to
They
boobs.
don't make noise. You should know this as one who has.
Anyway. What?
It works.
Okay, well, thank you for sharing that. Let's see over here.
Never again.
Huh?
But I know that I'm an idiot for choosing that relationship, not just saying that person's crazy. No, I'm crazy. I'm a dumbass.
You're crazy. Okay.
It's a cop-out when a man says all of my exes are crazy. It tells you that there's something wrong with them. What do you think, Jared?
What do I think? Oh my goodness, hold on. I think I think my thing just like screwed up on me.
Your thing-a-ling?
Yeah, my OBS. Cause I was supposed to show like Harley Quinn and stuff, but it just showed my OBS thing. Oh gosh. Who knows? Okay, so let's see over here. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say about that, unless I think of something else. And yeah, so I'm gonna read chat right now, and this might take a while, but let me see. Hey Erica, curious, how did you find about MGTOW? I heard you talk about it in one of those. You know what? I like to hear about what people think. I have a pretty open mind, so I do know about the wall. I do know about, certain theories out there. And I have to say, as much as they like to say all women are the same, I don't believe all women are the same. I think that it's easier to, how can I put it this way? Okay, hold on.
All women prefer MacBook to ThinkPad.
No. Okay, this is what I'm going to say about that. I think it's easier to lump women up when people have failed relationships or when they end up with divorces. So for instance, right? Let's say if a guy doesn't take care of himself, right? And he gains, let's say, 200 pounds. So then the wife divorces him and she goes out with, the wife divorces him and she ends up dating a guy who's fitter, who is considered, let's say a Chad or something, right? Then people could say, oh yeah, see that woman, she wasn't faithful. Yeah, she just, she went with the fitter guy and she's so stupid and she's just focused about the body. But yeah, it's easier to kind of like not focus on oneself and place the blame on other people. See? So that's why it's like with that kind of stuff, like I think some of the stuff does, it does ring true. I do think that for a lot of women, like once maybe around like the early 20s or after they hit their let's say 22, 25, like that's when they start losing some of their youthfulness because they don't, let's say they don't take care of themselves, you know, alcohol catches up with them. Let's say smoking starts, you know, signs of aging start showing up, especially if they don't have, take care of their skin, or they have weight gain, right? So, for instance, right, like when I was in my 20s, I was like a little lighter than I was now, and I feel like I don't want to call myself padded because I'm not padded, but I feel like my metabolism was faster when I was in my 20s versus now. I still, you know, I'm on a pretty restricted diet, as you guys know. I would love to eat anything I can, but like if I eat too much sugary foods, I feel like, yeah, I get more sugar crashes, and I feel like my body's not as resilient. So with the whole wall thing being 22, 25, I don't think that for all women it goes straight downhill. But as long as they do maintenance, so important to have skincare regime, take care of your teeth, take care of your hair, take care of your health, don't eat processed foods. And as long as you do that, like, yeah, you're getting older, your face, your bone structure changes, right? As you get older, it's not just how would I say this? It's not just what you do, but your body itself changes. Yeah. That came out terribly. So don't just think it's all about the skincare, because there's for like a woman, and I think I'll share it with you guys over here. Let me see. Ah, oh, dang it. Hold on. There we go. I don't know if you guys saw this clip. Who knows? But this was a clip that I was showing you guys.
Access things are crazy, so I don't care.
Here, let me
Fine.
see.
Everyone of my access things are crazy, so I don't care.
So that, and then there's my little banner. I don't know if this cut off because it looks like my OBS glitched for a bit. And here's Harley Quinn. I hope you guys didn't see my freaking live feed only, because yeah. So anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, bone structure in women changing. So let me show you guys this. See this? Young female versus old female. You look at the bones. See the bones? So I am not going to be able to fight this. This is like, how do I stop my bone from changing? I don't know. So you can see the CT scan of a woman between ages of 20 and 40. See? So the 40-year-old, see the jaw drops, and then the eye socket is larger. So all the skincare in the world may not prevent this. And you guys, like, if you guys don't believe me, like, look at older women. Like, even if their skin looks like very little wrinkle, you still see signs of aging because of the bone and the muscle underneath it. Yeah, hopefully for me it's not that bad, but we'll see. I won't know until I turn 40. But I can see for my face, I can tell my face is changing as I got older. It's not wrinkles. I don't have wrinkles on me.
You look cuter and happier.
I look cuter and happier. My face used to be more I want to say more round, and now it looks a little bit more angular. But it looks like I'm getting older because my bones are moving.
Like
huh?
Holding all that GME.
Yeah, I'm still holding on to GME. I'm still holding on to GME. So yeah, you know, sometimes when women, I think it's kind of misguided. Like when women say like, oh yeah, I'm getting older, so I need to get a facelift, and then I'm gonna look young. Yeah, that's not gonna help you, because if your bone underneath change, you can have the tightest skin in the world on your face, but you're not gonna be able to change that bone. Look at the bone structure. The bone structure itself, the older female looks older. Get what I'm saying? So anyway, whenever men talk to me about what they find about attractive women, 90% they are repeating other things have told them. Other guys have told them I'm attractive. Yeah, they'll say the same stuff. Like, yeah, like very rarely will I hear a guy say, "Oh, you know, I'm really attracted to her because she's a really wonderful person." They'll say stuff like, "Oh man, she's so hot. You know, she has a banging body. You know, her her chest is amazing, her boobs look out of this world kind of thing. It's like, oh wow, how creative. How creative. I don't know about you guys, but like when I talk to females, like I never talk about like, man, that guy is his shoulder blades are just incredible. Like it's not that. It's like, yeah, but I think men are very, and I might be gauging this wrong, but I think men are very asset focused. Like you guys heard what Lewis said earlier. He says, like, yeah, if he talks to a female or if he has an argument with a female and she's busty, he has to close his eyes so he can think straight. Yeah. When he talks to me, he can keep his eyes open because I'm flat chested.
When Erica bothers me, I just pick her up and I toss her somewhere.
Oh.
Because she's very, very light. So sometimes she'll be going, and then I'll pick her up off of her chair.
Yeah, I'm sitting in my chair.
And then I'll toss her somewhere.
Oh.
It usually goes something like this.
What? No, I'm doing my stream right now.
So Erica always sits in this little perch foundation. She looks like a little
I look
bird.
a parrot.
She really does look like a parrot that's leaning over on this chair. I don't know how you haven't lost 6 inches of height at least over the past year from the way you arch your back on this, but she'll sit on her perch, and because she's very lightweight and portable, I can just do this.
What? No! I gotta get back to my stream!
And then I just pick her up. I can just bring her over to this rug that she won't let me throw away, and I just roll her up and put her behind the couch. And she'll go, eh!
But the rug is the thing that ties the room together.
The rug is
you just don't like.
To roll you up and
No, the rug is the only reason why you don't like that rug is because someone you were dating got that rug.
It's also sandpaper.
Huh?
When I want to do my martial arts practice and I have to turn left and right or do any pivot, it scrapes your foot. It's a piece of sandpaper.
He just doesn't like the rug because it's associated with another person.
But
huh?
The thing is, it's very easy to pick you up. You're very portable. I like that.
Okay. So let's see over here. Oh. Hookup culture is cool, just don't accept it. I don't know. So, some people, they hook up and then one of them gets pregnant. And then they end up they feel pressure to get married, right? Which is not a good thing. Because then you're like, oh, well, at least she's hot, I guess. Or at least he's hot. But hot and crazy is not a good thing. Yeah. Yeah, hot and narcissistic, dangerous combo. Yeah. Let's see. I think women are. I might be gauging this wrong, but I think women are more emotionally invested into having relations than men. When it comes to bedroom relations. And I say this because it's like I know guys who hook up and I know women who have casually done that too, and the women appear to be more affected by it than men. Like men are just like, hey, I have a pipe over here, come at it, yeah, let's hook up.
Really?
That's what
Your impersonation of a man. I have a pipe over here.
Well, I gotta watch my language on my stream, right?
I have a pipe over here.
I gotta watch my language. But, it's like sometimes, I remember, what was it like?
Can I tell everybody what Erica's pickup line was?
No. Anyway, so the thing is that like when this is the other thing I don't like. I don't like it like, before, right? You would see on like the internet, like some people would have like dating profiles or something like that, or they would try to do hookups. And it's like, I just like cringe when like guys just like post pictures of their junk online. It's like, well, what the hell do you think this is? Do you think this is like a museum piece or something like that? And they're like, oh, look how great this is. I'm like, oh, geez, you're in like a sea of like 100 other ones. And that's the other thing I don't get. It's like sometimes like, it's like guys, like they'll post these pictures of themselves and they'll be like, oh, how come I don't have any chicks hitting me up? Oh yeah, I don't have it. I posted a pipe pic and nobody's interested. It's like, well, do you think your pipe is that special? Like, do you think people are just gonna be like, man, I want that pipe? That isn't the case, and then they get all mad, and then they're like, oh, you know, women don't like me. Oh, I put a little hookup thing, and I said, you know, these were my, you know, I'm this tall, and you know, here's a picture of my junk, and yeah, nobody responded. But at the end of it, right, there are more pipes out there than there are holes. So, yeah, there's more pipes out there than there are holes for the pipes to go in. So, you know, there is obviously a a surplus of pipes.
Dating theory with Erica.
Huh?
Dating theory.
It's true. So, you know, the numbers are stacked against you. The holes can be a lot more selective than the pipes. And I'm only talking, you know, I'm just being honest over here. Okay, so let me go back to this thing over here. Well, yeah, I think they're thinking long. I think how is, you know, that like buying a house? I think you have to think about it long term, right? It's like it depends. Like if some people are looking to hook up culture, like Team Pipe over here, Team Pipe. I got a pipe. You want my pipe? Hit me up. HMU, that kind of stuff is like, yeah, like those kind of thing. It's just like they just wanna. How would I say? It's like freaking Mario going down one of those pipes in Super Mario. You know, one of those little, when he goes down those tunnels. Yeah, that's how I imagine some guys in hookup culture. Let's see over here. Let's see. Yeah, by investing in the relationship, knowing what you want and knowing what she wants, thinking about building a family with them instead of getting laid. Exactly, Emily. But you know, I think sometimes when people think about marriage, they think it's boring because they'd be like, why do I want to settle down with one woman? Why don't I just be like Don Juan? Why don't I be like Leo DiCaprio, who is basically like the figurehead of MGTOW over here, and just yeah, go out there, hook up with some model chicks. And yeah, just try to get laid, cause yeah, I wanna have like lots of hot women that I can bang and I can tell all my guy friends about. Yeah, and you know, when I get older, I'll make some money, then I'll get a Lamborghini, and then I'll get more hot chicks. And at the end of it, I'll just have a bunch of hot chicks, and then the hot chicks can't tear me down because I'll just kick them to the curb. And even when I get older, I'll get hot chicks, and then that's all they think about. It's just like have hot chick. Have sex with hot chick, dump hot chick, replace with younger hot chick. So it's like, yeah, like Leo DiCaprio, he always seems to be like dating around women who are like 25 or so. Huh?
That's a winning formula right there.
That's a winning formula if you just want to like have a superficial relationship or you're waiting for someone's waiting for
that.
Huh?
There's the inverse of that.
What's the inverse of that?
Meet successful guy, enjoy successful guy, recession come by, find next successful guy. Guy lose money, find next one.
Ugh.
There was this letter in Ask Men where this woman said, yeah, I found this guy at a party and he seemed to be really, really wealthy and successful and blah, blah, and we hit it off. And we didn't hit it off because he was wealthy, it just happened to be his personality. And then over the last year, his company started failing and he was becoming stressed and aggravated, and now I don't like him anymore. What do I do?
Okay. I don't think she feels that way just because his sex company is failing. I think that when people are under a lot of stress, their personality changes. I mean, I can say this as a person, you know, when I used to work for that insurance place, like the guy that I was dating, he called me bipolar because I would go into work, you know, okay, right? Or outside of work, I was okay. And then when I was going to work, I would get so stressed out. And by the end of the day, it's like I would just be a mess. And he was like, Erica, your mood changes, you know, like that. You're bipolar, and I know this because I watched a PowerPoint about mental illness, and yeah, I can confidently say you're bipolar. And now I look back at it, I'm like, frick, I wasn't bipolar. I just had a shitty job. Like if you're in a shitty job, right? You don't want to be at the job, so outside of the job you would be happier, and then at the job you would be all miserable, right? That's exactly what happened to me. And once I removed that job, then I was a much happier person. No, he's not anti-boob or anti-big boob. Lewis loves big boobs.
Who doesn't?
Hear that? He said, who doesn't?
Who doesn't? They're like sugary snacks.
They're not good for you.
They're also like
I'm just kidding. Huh?
Also like sugary snacks.
Man, you know what?
You're biologically programmed to find that attractive. I mean, like, there's no
Yeah, when Lewis will be out in public with me, and he'll check out other women, and he can't stop himself. I remember this one time we were checking out houses in Jersey. Remember the dog situation? Malvern. Yeah, there was this woman who she was walking a dog.
Checking out the woman, by the way, if you tell that story properly.
Okay, tell the story.
So, we were looking at houses in this neighborhood called Malvern before we realized that they have 2.5% property tax. And there is this woman with a dog walking by, and the dog looked really happy, and I said, Erica, look at the dog. And then Erica said, I'm not looking at the dog, I'm looking at that lady's giant ass. And I said, well, yeah, I mean, so was I. I was trying to be polite about it. and then Erica hits me. And then I get on my bike. And right as I get on my bike, it immediately falls and smashes my leg.
Yeah, because you know what? I mean, this is one of those things where...
You noticed her ass!
Well, yeah, of course I noticed the ass. But
you noticed the ass.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, though. But I wouldn't word it as like, oh, yeah, try to be all side. Like, that's the thing that I don't understand about guys. Like, sometimes guys think they're so smooth. And, they, it's like they're saying things so, like, subtly. But it's like, I know if there's a chick with a big ass or big boobs, his eyes are going to be glued onto them. And it won't be on me because it's like he can't... It's like telling someone to look away from someone who's attractive. And, like, I can be honest about it. It's like, yeah, if a chick has, like, an ass that's, like, 2 times bigger than mine, it's like, that's a more sexually desirable ass than mine, right? If a chick has, like, a C-cup boob and I have an A-cup boob, he can't stop looking away from it because those boobs look more delicious than my boobs. See?
It seems you're bisexual. That's awesome, says Emily. Welcome to the club.
No, I'm not.
That's what I learned about Erica that day.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Oh, look, I have an appreciation for the woman's body, but I had no desire to, like, enter into, like, a relationship with them or anything like that. No, it's true. Women are more aesthetic than men. Think about it. Women have curves, right? Women have curves. They have the great, they tend to take care of their hair and their skin more than men. Men, it's like, if it's anything like what I remember, like, back in the day, right? It's like men are like, oh, look, I have pipe. Look at pipe. I handsome. You must think I'm handsome. Either that or you have high standards, that kind of stuff. Like, I think of too many guys.
I know, Kyle. There's nothing wrong with it.
Wow, she would talk to me about physics and curse me in voodoo. Yikes, yeah. Good thing you got away from there. Yeah, you don't want to be cursed with the voodoo stuff.
Who said voodoo?
Anonymous. Emily said guys cannot see personality. Guys are visual features. Have you ever had girl talk about guy features? There's nothing to talk about, Emily. Like, what would we do? We'll have a conversation about a guy's triceps or chest. So we'll be like, oh, that's cool. And that's it. Like, end the story. It's not like, man, I looked at her ass and I just wanted to...
Looks by far. Like, there are women that I've met that are so peppy and happy and just naturally excited that it completely overcomes their lack of aesthetic or desirable physical features.
Their lack of aesthetic.
No, really, I really thought that was a bunch of bullshit, but when you meet someone that's that happy, that peppy, that excited and zestful for life, it really is contagious. And it activates the same part of your brain that gets excited when you see boobs or an ass. But the inverse is also true. When you see someone with all that stuff, but they're miserable, it, like, deactivates that part of the brain. So I had to do this repair about 11 years ago at a strip club in Queens. And it was like run-down strip club in Queens, back when I was doing audio component repairs and everything. And I was charging by the hour. I think it was like $75 an hour. I was cheap back then. And I go there, I figure out what's wrong with the system, and I fix it in about 15 minutes. Now, usually people get pissed if you charge them for the full hour if you were there 15 minutes, even though you had to travel and take tools and everything. So I'm figuring to myself, okay, I got to find a way to look like I'm working for 45 minutes. And someone says, here, you could just sit over here at the bar. And then these women start coming up that are insanely aesthetic, like beautiful, but then they just walk over to you and they look so fucking sad. And then they just bend over like this. And they just stare at you. And then they walk away. And it was so creepy that I went up to the owner of the place and I said, I finished early, just give me $25 and we'll call it even. He's like, no, here, you can have the 75.
Okay.
But that reminded me of something.
Okay.
Like,
well, yeah, I mean, like, it's not just about having the assets. You got to be, like, the you know what? Okay, let me think about this. Okay,
so for instance, have sex with a man than any of the women that were in that club. Like, that was horrible.
Okay, let me look at this. You know who's like you remember Jessica Rabbit? Remember Jessica Rabbit?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Like this, see?
That's what the modern Instagram hoe is going for.
Yeah, but see,
Look, it's amaranth.
you got the curves, you got the waist, you know, you got the appeal. So this is hair, this is makeup, this is body, right? This is like the whole figure over here. And I know it's a cartoon character, but what I'm trying to get at is this. Like, yeah, it's like when you see that kind of stuff, it's very visually alluring. But it's not just having the assets. It's about having the whole package. It's about having the way you carry yourself, things like that. But let's be honest here. When it comes down to women, like for some men, even if they have this appeal, some guy could be like, well, I don't like her because she doesn't have the chest and she doesn't have the ass, and it's like you could see a woman is lacking. See where I'm getting at?
I think every guy who likes big boobs should have to hold them around for a week. I bet that'll change their mind. Men have their problems too. Right over a pothole on my buffang with balls. It's not fun. But
So you're gonna say that your balls hurt when you go over a pothole. That's just one pothole. Like I have, okay, so like sometimes, like I'm so flat chested, you guys. Like sometimes, like I have like really bad back pain when I'm on my period, and since I'm so flat chested, I'm thinking like, holy crap, thank God I'm flat chested, because if I had a busty chest, that would be more weight on my front, right? And yeah, I hear about women complaining about their back pain, but I feel like sometimes like guys are pretty insensitive to that. They're like, oh, okay. They're just like, oh, okay. Well, yeah, you have back pain. Oh, not a big deal, cause the boobs look great. They look great. So yeah, not my problem. That's a you problem. That kind of stuff. No, I don't actually have conversations with anybody about how about good legs or anything like that. Arc. Didn't you say Arc is highly overvalued? It's either non-existent or overvalued.
yep.
I would not say those kind of things on a street. I don't make any comments about them.
I am honest.
Dirty Dan, I have back pain. Do you want me to hold them for you? Oh, see, Dirty Dan can Dirty Dan really dirty. No, GME went down a lot. I hope it recovers, but I don't know if it's gonna recover. We have faith in the future performance of GME.
This evergreen tanker that got stuck is so funny.
What? You're still talking about that?
No, it's just like.
Why do you find it so funny that a ship got like stuck there? Like that's what I understand. It's still stuck there. It's not like it's moving. Because it's blocking the port, because it's blocking 100 ships from going in, and there's livestock on there and a bunch of containers. Yeah, Lewis is, let me see this stuff.
I'm going to be driving on Saturday, and I get pumped up and get confidence when I see successful people fail. And seeing that a canal could be that wide, and you could still manage to fucking crash into the side of it, gives me confidence.
So, it cannot move at all?
No.
Oh.
It weighs 400 million pounds.
Oh.
And it's stuck. And they have these little Tonka trucks coming by.
Jimbo, most women only care about one thing, whether you have a hard disk or a floppy disk. Yeah, well, you know what? Even if you have a floppy disk, there's a little blue pill that guys can take that supposedly works wonders. I heard Hugh Hefner was taking that when he was in his 80s. I don't know how well those things work, but I heard they work pretty well. So yeah, you don't have to let your performance be dampened by inability to get your stock up. Nah, I don't know. I don't know if it's like tall enough for them to sink it. I have no idea. So anyway, I am going to go end this stream, but I just wanted to show you guys all this and And I'm gonna end it with this. If if you are in a toxic relationship where you are losing your identity because of the other person, and it's in a negative thing, like you remember my guy friend who became a shadow of the person he is, like he gained weight, he looks miserable. Like if you saw before, I think Lewis, I showed you a before and after picture of the guy, remember the guy who was kind of skinny and then he got like he ballooned up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he knows how the guy looks like. It's just like it's so shocking and it's so sad how much. And like I said, I don't think he can be saved. It's one of those people. It's like I said, I mourn the loss of him. And if I see him in person, which I don't think I'll see him in person for a long time, because he's in a different state, I would just feel very bad for him, and he loses a lot of years of his life, and he's not happy in my opinion. But he's between a rock and a hard place. He's with a chick who is considered hot, like a Harley Quinn. She looks less hot now, but he probably felt like he invested so many years with her, and he shunned away all these people in his life. Then he has no better thing to do than double down. And I find that's what some people do. With another friend, for instance, right? The one where the chick was from freaking Taiwan or something. Yeah, he basically said F it to everybody just to chase her. And it's she destroyed him, in my opinion. And that saddens me as well. But what can you do about it? You can't do anything about it except look back, learn something from it, and share the experience so nobody else goes through that kind of thing. And if you find that's the only upside that I can do by sharing these kind of stories with you. Like if you find yourself in a similar situation, don't think you're going to be different. Understand that there's some people out there who are hot, who are physically attractive, but they're also destructive. And if they were not physically attractive, would you have allowed them to destroy your life like that? On a logical thing, right? Because like if you were with a person who you consider to be a 9 out of 10, and then they treat you a certain way and you allow them to, would you still allow them to treat you that way if they became a 3 out of 10 the next day? No, most likely you would probably leave them. I would think so, because it's like you would be like, man, you're not hot enough to treat me in that certain way. But the thing is that you shouldn't allow people to treat you a certain way based on hotness. You should have a set standard, and you should demand to be respected. You should encourage that too. And if anyone like disrespects you, or they treat you poorly because they don't consider you hot enough, or they put you down, kind of thing, like you shouldn't tolerate it. And for anybody who is who finds himself in a situation like that, I do hope that you get away from a crazy person like that. And I know, like, some people, it's like, even for my friend, it could be really tough for a person like that to walk away, because you just have so much bad and good memories associated with them. But the answer to that is that when you decide to step away from a person who is destroying you, then you can start your journey. You can start the path to finding the ideal person for you, a person who will treat you probably as well as you treated that person, right? Kind of like the mirror image. And I think it's very important to keep that in mind. Like, there's nothing wrong with wanting to be treated the same way that you treat another person. And there's such an imbalance between my friend and that chick, that Harley Quinn chick, that it saddens me. He lost all his identity. She just became, hyped up on, or she just became big-headed because she had his adoration, and she has him by the nuts, right? She has him by the nuts. It's like he can't turn back away from her, and I don't think he ever will. And again, he's a lost cause, but I really hope that doesn't happen for you guys, and you cannot take the path on to a better life if you're around a person like that, unless you leave. Yeah. So So like for some of you who are in failed relationships, or you guys who are in shitty relationships, don't don't feel bad or don't regret it, because I think having that experience, knowing how it felt like, knowing what you did or what they didn't do, you had that awareness about what you want to find in a partner. And when you what?
I'm sorry, go ahead, continue. I interrupted this one.
No, what is it?
You have to Google the track of the container ship.
What the hell?
Just look at track of Ever Given ship and Google image search it.
Evergreen ship?
Yeah, the track of Evergreen ship. Google image search it.
Okay. Okay, I see that. Yeah, it looks like a thing.
That's the path that it took before it got stuck.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like a male or a male thing.
That has to be on purpose.
I don't know. Yeah, so you guys can see, like, I don't understand male humor too much, because it's like, I would see this, I'd be like, oh, okay, lol. But I guess to maybe some males, they're like, oh my gosh, this is the funniest thing I've seen all day. Yeah, I don't see it. I mean, it's what a coincidence, but yeah.
The driver of that ship was buying puts in the stock market.
Yeah, you know what? I don't think. Okay, I'm gonna go up about prostitution. I know I'm getting a little sidetracked over here, but whatever. The whole thing about that is, I think it's not a bad thing to support prostitution. I know people are gonna criticize me for this, but I feel that there are women who are putting themselves in danger, because it is kind of, you got to hide things from people, you can't have it be transparent, and I think that sex workers do need to be protected. They are human beings as well, so I don't think there's anything taboo about those kind of things. I think if there was like legalization or transparency about that, then there would be less things like trafficking, you know. So, am I socially conservative when it comes? Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Yeah. But for people who decide to have a for people who decide to be more like to have more partners and things like that, if they find that it makes them happy, then that's not a bad thing. I'm not against it. I just hope that people use protection. I think sometimes it's sad to hear about women who have like multiple partners. They end up pregnant. They don't know who the baby daddy is. Kind of like the Maury show. And some people, it's like they might find that as like, oh my gosh, she has so much, so many partners. Oh, what a but the difference is that I feel like men can have like 50 partners, right? And they can just kind of disappear into the oblivion. But women are the one who take that consequence, because if they end up pregnant, right, then they have to make that decision. Do they keep the child? Do they not keep the child? And it can be very emotionally scarring. So I think there's more risks for women than men. So women should actually be more conservative or more selective. I stand by my statement. I think it's more likely that men have a very emotionless approach towards bedroom relations. They just kind of think like, okay, I'm just gonna stick my pipe in there, and then get going. Yeah, see ya. Okay, next women I want to lay. Okay, got it, like Pokemon, got to catch them all. But I think women are more emotionally connected to that kind of act. And again, I say this as a person who has spoken to several women, and you can kind of tell, like, based on what they say, they don't like actually hookup culture, because they get if they have like repeated hookups with the same person, they can end up getting feelings. And then if it doesn't work out, then they get hurt by it. And then the guy's just like, oh, I thought we were just hooking up. You know, why do you have feelings for me? We're just hooking up. And yeah. Yeah, gotta poke them all. Yeah. Yeah. But I don't think, if anybody thinks that, hey, if you just have a lot of bedroom partners, then you'll be happier. That is not the case, because I've known people who have lots of bedroom partners and they still deal with depression. So even if they're with, beautiful women who have great figures, who have, the big boobs and the big ass, and they're just, having relations with them, at the end of the day, after the act is done, they still go home alone. So it's not like, don't think that if you, like, if anybody is a virgin or something, you go out and you lose your V card. It's not like you're going to have instant happiness. I shared with you guys earlier how my friend had sex with a hooker because he was so insecure about his age. I think it was like 25 or 27, I can't remember. And at first he was happy, but after that he regretted it. Yeah, the other thing too about hookup culture is, like, I don't hook up, but I imagine, like, for some people, like, if they're doing the whole Tinder stuff, right, it can be kind of uncomfortable, because can you imagine, right, let's say you hook up with a person, then you fall asleep next to them, right, and you have a great session, and then what do you do afterwards? Are you like, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna go, I'm just gonna put my clothes on, okay, and then you never see them again? You see, I think that's very depressing and sad, if I had to think about it. I'm sure, that's probably what hookup culture is, and it isn't like, okay, well, now that we've had, do you want to go on a date? It's not like that, right? It's just like, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. And for me, I know the kind of person that I am. It's like, that would never fly with how I am, so that's why I never chose to do it. Yeah, it's just like, for a guy, a guy might be thinking like, oh yeah, wow, I did this hot chick, it was great, okay, see ya, I'm gonna do another hot chick. But for the woman, she could be like, man, I kind of like, lying in bed next to another individual, and yeah, now I gotta get going and I'll never see that person again. See? Nah, it's not a session as in like a period of time where people it's not really a job, it's more like a shared activity. But yeah, it's like I just, yeah, I don't, some people can tolerate those kind of hookup things very well. Women, I find, cannot, at least the women that I know that have done that kind of stuff, they have scarred from it. And like, they'll talk about having relationships with a guy and they just hook up and then they meet each other and then they have this sort of connection, and then for whatever reason the guy's like, like they meet up regularly, right? Like, they have a hookup and then they go out, they have, let's say they have lunch with them, they have dinner with them, they have extended time with them because they're hooking up. And then one day the guy can be like, oh yeah, I found this chick and I like to actually be committed to her, so we can't see each other anymore. And I imagine that's pretty damn hurtful. Because then the person who they were hooking up with and they were spending time with, it's like their mind might think kind of like, oh, we're close, we have maybe like a quasi relationship with each other, we have conversations with each other, and I'm getting tossed away because he wants to have an emotional connection with someone, which would implies that if a guy is telling the woman he hooked up with, or he has been hooking up with, like, I can't see you anymore, that means that he only saw sexual value in that other woman, or he didn't see that woman as having partner qualities. See, so that you can kind of see how that can be hurtful to a person who hooks up with another person. Again, I maintain, and I think that men have more of a shield, or men are able more to like separate themselves from like sex and relationship. I don't think women are able to as much. So anyway, it is an important factor, but the thing is that like some people will say it's not everything. Some people, like I know, they end up with, like some people end up in relationships where, let's say someone has a health issue and then they can't, do that kind of stuff anymore for whatever reason. And they just, it's okay. They work around it. I mean, it's not everything, but it can be an important factor. But I think that a relationship should not have that as like the basis of it. You see, because it's like while it is important, you can't be like, oh, okay, well, I'm in a relationship and yeah, this is one of the things that like makes this thing so special. It's really about the connection. It's important, but it's not everything. I like how Emily says a guy can be nice, but if his pipe game is weak, then it will suck.
There's a reason that her last name is Ram.
Oh. Yeah, but you know what the thing is like, you can't, like, how would a guy even know if he sucks? Because it seems pretty straightforward, right? Like, it almost seems like all a guy has to do is stick his pipe in there and just go straight.
Sex with him, he sucks.
How does a guy improve?
Practice on other women?
Yeah, okay.
You ever see that episode of Third Rock from the Sun? Where Tommy, he really wants to have a good time with his girlfriend. He doesn't want, when she loses her virginity, and he was afraid he would show her a bad time. So to try and be courteous, he bought a hooker and practiced on her. And then he told her, you know how much I care about you, that I practice with somebody else? And she was mad, and he didn't understand why. Did you ever watch Third Rock from the Sun?
No, I didn't.
It's a show about aliens that come to Earth and live in human bodies, and they're trying to figure out how to socialize with people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he practices on a hooker, and then he tells his girlfriend, I got this for you as a present. I decided to practice on other women so we'd have a good time together. And then he doesn't understand why she's so mad.
Okay. Yeah, Anya, I agree with you. Women are wired by nature to build a nest and reproduce, while men are wired to spread their pollen as far as they can. And maybe that's why we can think of men as being kind of insensitive about certain things. It's like biologically, they're like, okay, we must naturally find lots of women to have sex with, and while women are just like, hey, okay, let's hunker down now. That is true. Talking and paying attention is good. Yeah. So anyway, I gotta get going. I need I'm probably gonna cook something. So while piping, I'm gonna be thinking about the pipe thing. Yeah, pipe game. Yeah, maybe that'll be something on my channel where we talk about the pipe game, because the algo is not going to be too happy about certain terms, so I think we'll just say pipe. I don't know, hopefully someone doesn't look in this thing and they'll be like, what the hell is everybody talking about? Jeez, I didn't know it was that kind of like extra substance channel or something like that. Good. I think what else do I think? Yeah, just pipe dream. Oh my goodness, I see all these pipe things. There are women where you put it in and they are happy. I think that it depends. Like, unless, not all, because I mean, like, I think there's a misconception with guys that say, yeah, I think there's a misconception with guys that they think that if they just put their pipe in, then women are gonna go crazy for it. It will be like naturally the best pipe they ever had kind of thing. And I blame some videos for that. I really do. Because it's like, you look at that kind of stuff and then you see these like women actresses, right? and they just give off this whole vibe like you don't even have to touch them, and they're like, oh, you're doing so great, da 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 da, like that kind of stuff. And yeah, and then it can make a guy think like, okay, if I just put my pipe in and I just hammer away, then I'm gonna be a god and women are gonna go crazy. You see, like that's why it's like for me, my stance on the on those videos is this. Like I think it can be kind of destructive because like sometimes a guy might be like, well, I don't understand how I can improve. I mean, like I watch these videos and all the guy does the same thing. They just stick it in and yeah, the women just go crazy about it. It's, yeah, so I yeah, it's just that's one of those things like they don't talk about in those videos, right? Because it's like that's not reality. Reality is it's not just like just do two moves first, grab the pipe, second put pipe in, kind of thing. Oh. I think it depends though, cause some guys like they don't want those women, or they have experience like with those kind of women, and they just don't want something like that. There you go, Lane. Looking the girl looks her. My duck foot is stuck in the tarp. Yeah. What do you mean the latter is not worth the trouble? Sometimes women know exactly what they want. I run my jumper wires using the shortest path from one. What? Oh, jeez. Oh, gosh. Yeah, but then, I think sometimes guys. uh, oh, gosh. Well, anyway, I will talk to you guys later. Don't worry, right? No, check your body can't cash. You know what though? Sometimes you got like some people who are like used car salesmen. They make these big promises, saying, assessing how great they are, and then you find out reality. It's like, oh, jeez, please. Uh, Emily, though, doesn't that I thought the person's presence alone is that FP thing. The presence alone's like, well, you saw me for 10 to 20 minutes, so yeah, if I just stand in front of you, isn't that FP? There are people like that. Oh, jeez. Okay. Well, TMI influencer over here. But you know what the thing is? I think there are some people who Emily, I think there's some people out there who think that yeah, it's more it's oh gosh. Jeez Louise. Yeah, it's gosh, jeez Louise. Okay. Yeah, well, I'm not saying anything to this. Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything.
What type of girl is that?
Huh? I'm just reading live chat. I want to come home, read my Bloomberg, eat my cheese and crackers. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. Oh, my gosh. Okay, you guys, so I'm going to go end this stream. I know I said it like 5 different times, but I didn't want to cut it off before this conversation was going on. So I hope you guys, I don't want to sound very corny over here, but I hope you guys learned something about Lewis. I didn't say anything. He said it.
Grandma has gotten awkward.
Huh?
The grandma has got this feeling awkward.
Well, I'm just being honest here. It's like, Grandma, what about you? I want to come home, read my Bloomberg, eat my cheese and crackers, bang, and go to sleep.
That's why you're dating a grandpa.
It just sounds so exciting. It's like saying I want to come home, read newspaper, snack on some snacks, and just, yeah, that's my day. Yeah, okay.
Does this mean you'll be back in 6 minutes?
No. I ain't gonna be back in 6 minutes. Are you kidding me? No, I think he's ready to eat more cheese and crackers and read his Bloomberg right now. That's what he's excited about. He's like, I can't wait to read read my Bloomberg.
Oh, that's funny.
What?
That's funny.
Yeah, but yeah. So anyway, I'm sure you guys learned a lot in this stream. A lot more than you expected to. I read a lot more than I expected to read. So yeah, kind of awkward, just a little awkward. But
Erica doesn't like talking about sex.
huh? What? No, it's just
really funny because Erica's like 32, but then you listen to her talk about these things, and then she kind of like stops.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Leaves the room like your 90-year-old grandparents do.
well, no, it's weird when you talk about running jumper wires and things like that. If I have to go looking for PMSLPS S4L, then it better be 425 for me at the end. It's like, oh gosh.
Erica's PM Sleep S4L is always just that cap that you flick off next to the RTCC.
That ain't the language of love.
Simple to find in service.
Oh jeez. Okay, you guys. Yeah, I think he's gonna go read Bloomberg, and then afterwards he'll probably eat some cheese and crackers.
Erica's like that JTAG connector that you rip off and everything works again.
What?
Emily Ram is like the missing PM Sleep S4L because of a bad PCH or something. You have to reball every one of the 900 balls on
There's not 900.
on Emily's BGA in order to get a proper result out of her.
What?
She's a board that you need to run 17 jumpers on, it sounds like.
Have you ever tried your repair flirting with another woman?
Yes,
How did it work?
we had a relationship. I don't know, you found me from board repair videos. Clearly this shit works. Clearly this works. You found me from me fixing a board.
Yeah, but I mean that ain't bedroom talk. That ain't bedroom.
Emily says no bang after a cracker.
Yeah, no bad. Okay, you guys, see ya.